We actually grew up in the 80s. We've just had a lot of really, really good work done.
Really good work.
Great.
Oh my God.
Kaia, I know that you wanted to play Susan Reynolds. What was it about her? You know, the stereotype is that she has it all figured out and she's perfect, but what sort of layers were you wanting to explore beneath this character?
The first time I read the Shards, it became very clear to me how much love Brett has for Susan, because of the complexity he gave her. And, you know, there's such a clear, close relationship between them. And yeah, I think I was very attracted by this sort of stereotype, like all-American teenage girl who has it all, but is dissatisfied with that all. And Susan also is all the things that I wish I was when I was that age. You know, she's confident. She is not afraid to go deeper and to, you know, go against what people expect of her. She is class president, which I ran for and was not even runner-up. It was never going to happen for me. It was a pipe dream. So there was a lot of joy.
I would have voted for you.
I actually believe you would have, because I was promising
I feel like you
cool
had a really
things.
good speech.
I did.
Like you actually had a
I took
plan
it
for where you
so
wanted to-
seriously.
Yeah.
They felt so bad for me that I lost that. If there was ever someone in student council that was absent from school, they would let me step in and do the Pledge of Allegiance
Oh, that's sweet.
because of my dedication to my campaign.
That's sweet.
So it was like living out a fantasy, but I also just admired Susan so much reading the book and wished that I could play her, but didn't think I ever would. And I was so grateful when Ryan gave me the opportunity to play her.
I want to get your opinion on a line that Brett says in episode 1, where he was like, the kids of today, like 2026, have it so much easier than what we had to deal with in the 80s. So now that all three of you have kind of lived in that decade for a while, do you agree with that or not?
Oh gosh, wow, what a complicated question.
Do we have it easier now?
I don't think so. You know what I think was really beautiful about the 80s and about getting to play in that world was the communication style was just very, very different, and everything was done face to face. I think that lent itself to a bit more of maybe honest communication isn't the right word, but communication that had to be thought about and done instead of just, you know, quickly shot away.
It was
into
harder
a
to hide
text.
behind.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
You had to show up and say it to someone's face.
Yeah, you had to say it to someone's
You know.
face. Yeah.
Yeah. I also think I think why the show is also so addicting is because at this age range is just universally difficult. And no matter what time period you're in, you're faced with, it's a serial killer or it's social media bullying. It's constantly not saying those are the same things or comparing them or putting them on the same playing field. However, they came to mind as different generational issues.
We actually grew up in the 80s. We've just had a lot of really, really good work done.
Really good work. We have doctors.
We have great doctors. If you
don't,
want
but you don't
numbers
need
or
it.
recommendations.
I rate it.
We actually froze ourselves
Yeah, we felt
cryogenically.
cryogenic. It was an early cryogenic
in the early
trial.
2000s, and Ryan actually came and woke us up for these roles.
Yeah, Ryan, when he first read American Psycho, when he was a boy,
when he was a boy,
so that
froze
eventually
us.
we could make the Shards.
Yes,
Incredible.
I feel like insane. I feel like, you know, the kids these days have it easy. Like, we were living in the 1980s on set, but then we could use Google Maps to get home.
Yeah, I don't know necessarily.
Which
I don't know. Yeah, I do.
I do. I simply
time.
couldn't do without it.
Sometimes I try to use like the wind or the sun to get home. If
I'm not even sure I could get home from the stages.
I would just call it
Google
quits.
Maps.
I just live on the street.
Yeah.
I don't think it's any easier or harder now. I think it's always really hard to be a person, and I think it's always really hard to be a young person. And I just think we have different ways of navigating it now, and maybe more opportunities to tune out, check out, self-soothe. Whereas in the 80s, you kind of had no choice but to confront it. And I think that's what makes the scene work in the show so compelling.
Yeah, wonderfully put, Graham.
Every once in a while,
Hey,
I put some words together. It only took 20 interviews.
Now we're on a roll.
Jordan, I want to know how the look of Steven was created, how it was, so it was specifically 80s, and your input on that.
Well, so Ryan, when we first spoke about it, said that we would find this look together. And the clue that he gave me was that he imagined Stephen is really looking to the runways of Europe. He's looking to the music scene. He's looking to avant-garde fashion and taking all those inspirations for his personal style. And we really started with the hair.
Yeah.
My first impulse was David Bowie, Man Who Fell to Earth. So we were looking at the red and yellow and that beautiful swoop. And then actually Brent Lawler, who does my own hair, I was talking about it and I was talking about Bowie and he said, look at David Sylvian. David Sylvian was the lead singer of the band Japan in the late 70s, early 80s. He had Stephen hair, or Stephen has his hair. And he was so right. And that became Stephen's hair. Then we found the shoes.
Yeah.
And then we filled in the middle. And his look really told my body how to live in him.
Obviously, there are a lot of twists and turns and darkness in the story, but ultimately, this is also a coming of age story. And many of the characters are dealing with many firsts: first love, heartbreak. What is the first experience that resonated the most with you?
You know, there's that moment, I think, that Brett talks about when he finally feels adult and he feels also simultaneously like the most alone he's ever felt. Because there is something about stepping into adulthood when you're stepping out into the void by yourself. And that is when you realize that you are the one that's coming to save you ultimately. You know, some people have even people that have great support systems around them. There's something about making that transition from child into adulthood where you feel alone in so many ways. And that's why it's so terrifying to take that step. And so I think they capture that really well on the show, actually.
The accent is quite, like, it's quite on, like the diction of yeah.
Igby killed it.
Igby killed it.
Homer, I want to talk to you about your character, Robert, who's a disruptor. I mean, he comes in and everyone's life falls apart, romances fall apart. How did you approach it? Did you want to play this character? Because Ryan said that, you know, when he was auditioning you, he knew it right away that it was going to be you. So yeah, tell me what's in you that is so disruptive.
I don't know. I should talk to my therapist or something. No, it's really, really fun to be, you know, the disruptor. You know, it's a kind of a weird place to be, but also I feel like you're giving a very Brett-centric reading.
No, I love what you just said. I think that's incredibly accurate.
Robert's a normal guy going to a new school trying to make some friends.
He's a liar. He's not forward with his
Brett
backstory.
is a psycho, obsessed, completely obsessed.
Justifiably so. There are people going missing and dying.
Igby and I have real life fights about this.
I mean, we're experiencing it, and they put me in the middle today in a leather jumpsuit that I love.
You look
Just
great
sweating.
in the leather jumpsuit.
Thank you. Just sweating. Yeah.
And I'm sorry that you have to be in the middle of either Team Brett or Team Robert, but
Yeah,
also one of the fun parts of the show.
Oh my God, yeah. Of course.
I do want to talk to you, Hayes, about your character, Debbie, because everybody is complicated. Everybody has layers. I kind of love how delicious she is. You know, she's so there we go.
She's spicy. Sorry.
No, tell me what you loved
Sorry,
about
it's my turn.
that.
Sorry, it's my turn to talk. So, when I was so excited getting the audition, I was such a fan of the book, but in the audition, there was a scene, it's episode 2 with me and Liz, that Brett is not involved. And so much of the book is Brett's perspective. And I'm kind of Team Robert, where I'm like, I don't really believe it's time to sit down. It's time to sit down, honey. Okay? This is how you talk through it. You do it together.
You know, I had a feeling she was Team Robert, but it's nice to finally hear it.
But that's who Hayes feels. But
You're Hayes.
okay, I'm back. What I was going to say is that this show explores so much of Debbie that Brett does not see and explains why she is who she is. And she's very layered. It may come across in the very beginning that it's one-dimensional shallowness and that she has everything and her life is so perfect. But the second you see her family and where she comes from, you understand that what she's doing is really a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly asking myself, why is she with Brett? Why is she with Brett? And I had to always, as an actress, figure that out and explore that myself. And so I just think she's very, very layered. And I think the show does an amazing job in diving more into that.
Jordan, your character is delicious. A scene stealer, pot stirrer, quite manipulative, but also helpful. What did you enjoy about sort of peeling back the layers and motivations of Steven?
I love that description. Thank you. I enjoyed every damn second of living Steven.
Yeah.
I think what I find so fascinating about him is he is this sort of enigmatic figure of his own creation who trades in secrets and is deeply adept at manipulation. But all of that is his coping mechanism and his deep primal scream to be seen. And I think we all have that need. We all have that desire, and it manifests in all different ways. And for Steven, it is a bit of skullduggery on the way to see what I can do, see what I've got in here.
Well, same question then for you, Evan, about your character, Liz. Even though, you know, she lives in Los Angeles, a seemingly glamorous life, there's so much complication beneath the surface.
You know, I think at first glance, she seems like a hot mess, and she is in a lot of ways, and she can come across quite cruel. But like you said, when you think about the time, you know, 1981, I think it's only been a few years that women were even allowed to have their own credit cards without their husband. She talks about coming from Indiana and sort of escaping her life there and seeing an opportunity in Los Angeles and fame and fortune. And I think a lot of people make the mistake of chasing fame and fortune, thinking it's going to fill this void that they have, only to find out it doesn't, and oftentimes can make it worse. And I think it's a trap that some people find themselves in, especially in Los Angeles. And I think Liz has found herself in that trap, and she married this big Hollywood producer she thought she was madly in love with, only to really find out that he's using her in a lot of ways. And she's still in an empty life, and she's still trying to escape. And that's when you find yourself having a lot more empathy for her and her situation.
Thank you so much. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Bye.